2, 1. What is up? It's 2020. We're here. First stream of the new year. We're going to talk about what everyone's got planned this year. Some big things. A lot of stuff going on in the world. It's crazy right now. You're watching Young Lion TV. Let's go.
Young lion, everywhere I look, they're dying. Everywhere I look, they're dying. Young lion, everywhere I look, they're dying. Everywhere I look, they're dying. Young lion, won't you get up and start fighting? Everywhere I look, they're hiding.
Yeah. So, what's up, everybody? We
What
appreciate y'all that are watching right now. I want to say hi to everyone in the chat. The chat that I'm in, I can see a few people. What's up, Jen, Beverly, Mike Lopez, whoever else is watching in the other chats. We appreciate y'all. Ariana. What's up, Ariana? Happy New Year to all of y'all. What's up, Stiz?
Stan Lee.
Yeah, you should. He's gotta come back on another stream, man.
What's up, dude? Come on.
He's too tired,
Let's
man.
go.
He's getting up at the gym at 5 o'clock in the morning.
Go.
Yeah, so it's 2020. It's Tuesday night, the first one we could do this year. And we're happy to be here. We're happy to be back, have another conversation. There's a lot that's been going on, a lot to talk about. So before we get into it, I want to remind everyone to just like this stream, give it a thumbs up, a like, a heart, whatever. Share it on Facebook. You can subscribe to the YouTube channel. You can go to our Patreon, patreon.com/youngliontv, and you can, become a member. You can donate to the stream, donate to the podcast, and just help us keep growing. Share it with everyone that you know. If you know anyone that needs to hear some good conversation. Also, I got the Cash App set up. If you want to donate on Cash App, you can hit Young Lion TV on the Cash App. Yeah.
Ain't they getting rid of Cash App?
They might be, but it's still here for now. Jack Dorsey ain't going nowhere yet. Yeah. Also, stay tuned for more music that we got coming out. Jatan.com. You can go there to get the merch and get all the music and all that good stuff. Without further ado, let me introduce the brother to my left, the half black, half Indian with the Spanish last name, Mr. James Garcia, a.k.a. Mr. Build Right himself.
Right. I build it right all
Got
the
the
time.
Scully and the headphones.
Yeah, he's you haven't been on the stream in a while, right?
No, I haven't been.
Okay. Well, welcome back. Happy
Up
New Year
on the
to you,
mic.
brother. And
Been traveling all over the world.
That's right.
celebrating
Yeah.
his birthday, the big. Well, I don't know if you want to give your age.
No, 39.
The big 39.
39.
He's hanging on to them 30s with
Last
his last little
right.
like scratching and clawing, hanging on to them
God,
30s.
what am I gonna do?
I know, right?
Yeah, right. I accept it.
Yeah.
Just gotta let it go.
Yep.
So it never bothered me. You know, I was never like,
Yeah.
I look forward to it. I feel like, I don't know. I feel like I'm looking forward to. I got one more year in the 30s. I'm looking forward to another.
The 40s, right?
Yeah.
It's another era of life. It's like, going through the stages of life, seeing how it all pans out for you.
Yeah.
You can't be a kid forever, man.
Right.
Yeah, man.
And life is good. Life is
Yeah.
good. I'm married. I got a kid. I'm doing
Right.
well. Like I got family.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
what?
man. Traveling,
Yeah.
seeing things you never saw.
There was that dream of singing in the band and stuff.
So wait.
You need me up there.
being a bass player, right?
So we got 39.
I'm about to
You're
be.
about to be 39 another month.
Yep. Coming up for me.
That's right.
A lot of 39.
Rachel's over there
right.
whistling. Old man.
So let me keep going with the intros. We got my brother from the same mother, as Freddie always puts it. We're maternal brothers.
That looks Spanish but doesn't have a Spanish last
Right.
name.
Right.
No, the looking Spanish, half black,
Right.
half
But
looking
doesn't
Spanish.
have a Spanish.
With the what's
He
that?
looks
The English last
English.
name. Yeah.
Technically, it's Welsh.
Welsh name, the slave
Evans?
name.
Welsh?
Yeah.
He looked like he should be frying plantains, but he got an Evans last name.
Evans means
Right.
what does Evans mean in
It means son of John.
son of John, right?
Son of Johanan.
Yeah,
John.
that's what it
John.
translates to. But it's the same as Ivan, right?
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
and
Evans, Ivan.
yeah,
Or Evan, Ivan. Yeah.
yeah. Well, that's my brother, Mr. Jake Evans the third,
Ivan.
named after our father before him and his father before him.
Reminded me of
Third of his name.
Skywalker.
Is your son?
Luke Skywalker?
Is your son? No, your son is not.
Yes, he is.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He's the fourth.
Fourth.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
Jacob,
That's
fourth
right.
of his
different
name.
middle name, but
Okay.
Different middle name, but he's the
with the
fourth.
same
still.
middle initial.
Yeah. And the funny thing is,
Nobody gets my
Well,
joke
it's not-
except for Game of Throners.
it's not. No one ever gets your jokes except you. No one laughs at Moon's jokes harder than himself.
Yes, I think I'm funny.
I remember,
My wife thinks I'm funny.
Remember when we were in the van and afterwards I told you, I'm like, yo, y'all would not shut
Oh,
the
yeah,
hell up.
yeah,
We were
yeah.
riding. We had a long ride from, where was that? Was that from
It was we were going to the airport
early in the morning?
early in the morning.
Yeah.
We all got a ride together in a 15-passenger van, and Freddie Jackson is sick. Like,
Really sick.
The flu.
No,
like,
we were going back to the hotel
We were
from
going-
the gig.
going back to the hotel from the gig, right?
So I was
this was
amped
in
up.
Chicago. This was in Chicago.
Yeah.
And this was when he
Yeah.
was the worst sick
Yes.
he was.
Yeah, and it was
And-
like a 30-minute drive.
30-minute drive, and the whole time Moon and Jordan are just like, you know Jordan's conversation, just like the most like dad jokes, just firing off, and Moon is right there with him and laughing and giggling and laughing at his own jokes, and the whole time I'm sitting right behind Freddie, and I'm like, yo, he's like 2
He didn't
seconds
care, though,
from turning
'cause-
around and smacking y'all.
But it's so funny because I was sitting in front of him and next to Freddie,
Yeah.
and you're sitting on the side, and we're both thinking the same thing. Like, yo,
I was about to
these
text
guys-
y'all like, yo, shut the hell, because it's like, it was like what 11 something at night. He's super sick. He just
Yeah.
did a 75-minute set, and he's like really really passed out. I'm like, yo, these dudes, and y'all the only ones talking. Everyone, I'm like, that's what I said. I said, yo, can y'all read the room? Like,
I was totally
no
oblivious
one
to
is
it.
talking.
I was just
Everyone is-
having a good time.
yeah.
And it was just funny because the stuff that they were laughing
I
about
know.
was like,
It was the dumbest
so-
conversation ever, yo. They were just throwing dad jokes at each other. And that's what made it like even worse, because I'm like, yo, he's probably so annoying right now. But no, it was funny. But anyway, so introducing Simone Chang, the own joke laughter. And he's
With
very
the Chinese last name.
Chinese last name, yeah.
Chang.
Born in
He's
Thailand.
definitely half black. Moan's very sad today, though.
I'm actually not that sad, man.
You're not that sad.
I'm not that sad.
And that's good.
You know what? I gotta give it to Simone because we had some people. We went to Mom's house. Had some people
Right.
baptized and filled with the Holy Spirit.
Right.
3 people, and it was actually on Sunday,
Mhm.
and it like fell into the game.
Right.
And I didn't think he was gonna show up. This guy's there, and he's game's
Right,
on.
right
and
when it
stuff,
got
bro.
around like 4:20, Moan was probably thinking like, "How the hell can I get out of here?"
No.
Nita, you need me? Oh, what
No.
happened?
That's the thing.
No,
was
he
the
fell in a well.
He actually
I'll be right there.
He called her and was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna be late."
I
Like,
know, but I'm
But
just,
it-
it's
yeah.
just funny, like thinking about it. No, he fell in a well again. I'll be right there.
Hey, man.
No,
What's more important?
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
Exactly.
I love my Eagles. Y'all know I love my Eagles.
Yeah. And why you keep getting into with people on Facebook, bro?
Because they get on my nerves,
Yo,
man.
just let them be.
No.
But this is the thing. This is the thing that cracks me up about it is you're just giving them what they want. When you comment
Yo.
on trolls, you're just. It's like the trolls.
I know.
The trolls are putting little traps out there to get some kind of satisfaction from people. And anytime you comment, they get it. They
Yeah.
get it what they need.
I understand, but
You can't help yourself.
They're irrational.
They're not irrational. They know. They just
Yo.
don't give a shit. They want to try to stir you up. They're not irrational. Trust me.
Right.
They just want to stir you up, and they know that these are the ways that's going to push people's buttons. Oh, let
Right.
me put out there.
Just like Max, what's his name? Max.
Yeah.
The boxing dude. What's his
yeah,
name?
yeah. The commentator on ESPN.
Max Kellerman?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Max Kellerman. Yeah,
He
he's
became a football analyst all of a sudden, and
Yeah.
he knows what he's talking about.
right. Yeah.
But-
Anyone that really knew football analyzed what happened in that game perfectly.
Right.
He's the only one that's like totally irrational about it.
People are just, it's those that, are Redskins fans, Dallas fans,
Right,
or
New York fans.
You know,
or just Carson Wentz haters in general.
Nana actually watched the game at my house. They were there, you know, before I was even there. Even he was like, that shit was unnecessary.
Yeah.
That hit was unnecessary. I didn't see that. It
Dude,
happened
that was
like
dirty.
8 plays into the game.
Yeah, I saw it.
Yeah, I ended up seeing it later.
Look, our boy T. Shaw's watching. You know, he probably got some smack to talk because we was messing with him after Dallas got eliminated. Kyle Mack said, "What's up to everybody? What's up,
What's
Kyle?
up, Kyle?
Y'all not
Yo.
doing no podcast today for Tri Jam? What's going on, man? Y'all supposed to be streaming right now too. Otherwise, you should have hit me up. You could have been on today,
Dude, but I'm not even that upset, dude. Like, I'm happy the way they fought. The team was decimated.
The amount of injuries I've never seen
They
in my
signed Shelton Gibson, who we had like a
right?
few years ago.
I remember, and he was supposed to be the Deshaun Jackson
Yeah,
replacement
and he made-
that never worked, but he made that one pass interference play happen.
You know
Gave
I
him a
forgot
chance.
Deshaun Jackson was on the
what?
team.
What do
Dude,
you
he
expect?
got hurt in the second game of the season.
Yeah,
He
Yeah,
got
I
hurt in
just-
the second
just
game
thought
of the
about that.
season.
he played
Like,
one game and a quarter of a game.
One game with 2 60-yard touchdown passes in the
Yeah.
first game, bombs, and then after that, hurt.
Yeah.
So you think about like that's the biggest weapon on for as far as receivers go.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Then Zach Ertz had to step up and be the main playmaker.
Yeah.
Miles Sanders stepped up. I mean, after Jordan Howard got hurt, who was
Yeah.
killing it in the
Boston
running game.
Scott killing it.
Yeah. That's the only thing I was hoping is that like Doug leaned on them a little bit more. It seemed like he was
I
putting the
blame-
ball in Josh McCown's hands too
I
much.
blame more on Doug, dude. Like
They could have won that game.
He's a good coach.
He is.
But he makes mistakes, man.
that delay of game, dude,
Yeah,
that was the dumbest shit I've ever
dude.
seen.
Me, yeah. I would have called that
Wasted the
timeout right there.
there.
Boom.
You
Call
can't
that
You
timeout.
can't afford that one.
Man, you're on the 6-yard line.
Yeah.
You know, you punch it in. Me though, dude. Like I love Dougie's ballsiness.
Right.
But I feel
I
like
would've- he
he's too
should've took the field
ballsy.
goal.
I would have took both field goals.
At least
and then,
the first one. At least the first one.
Yeah.
Because then you would have only been down by 5. A touchdown wins the game.
Right.
You don't need 8. You don't need the 2-point
Yeah,
conversion.
and it's still the 2-point conversion is already makes it 50%. It's a 50% chance anyway, so
Right.
you're gonna need another score. I would have
Right.
I would have taken both field goals,
I would have taken at least the first one and
Yeah.
see where I'm at. You know what I'm saying?
and then if he would have had like his 2 timeouts, that would have gave us another chance.
Yeah.
And all we would have needed was a field goal.
Kyle said I'm assistant teaching a videography class tonight at the school, so Tri Jam is off. I don't know football like that anyway. This is all the football talk we're gonna do.
Yeah, this is it.
gonna be over,
And it's
right
just
now.
gonna be me and
It's
Jamie.
just me and Mo. It's always just me and Moon.
James is looking at his,
She even just text me, said, "Wake up! You look like you're falling asleep."
and I always just look around.
Yo, but
right.
you got to be proud of that team.
I already know what's going to get James going when I bring up something a little bit later. But yeah, they had a chance to win, even with all
Yeah.
that stuff happening.
All the-
Some little things didn't play out. They could have
Right.
still gave them that win.
And who knows? I don't know if we would have won the game with Carson Wentz, but we'll never
But
never know.
It does give you that like unfulfilled
It does.
loss, right? It's like a
It's-
loss without really knowing if they
Right.
could, But then even if Josh McCown did like win that game, then next week it's like, what do we? Carson Wentz probably still
Carson
not going to
wouldn't have played.
been able to play. So
It wasn't
And-
their year, man.
yeah,
That's
and it
all.
definitely wasn't.
And for somebody to call him soft after that type of injury, dude, like the dude.
But that's what Jamie's saying.
Yeah.
Like, stop feeding into it.
Yep.
You gotta let that go.
I want to. I want him to
But this is the
tell him how
thing.
ridiculous.
But this is the problem. They already
pride,
know.
man.
This is the
Gotta
problem.
do
They
that
already
pride.
know. And guess what? You'll never win.
yeah, I know.
Every time
I
you
just
engage, with them, you're just feeding
Yeah.
the ego and the mentality. You're just feeding them. You're feeding them. Kyle said, "Who else can I piss off next time I come on?" You didn't piss off nobody when you came here. What he said? Oh,
not us.
Not
not any
us.
of us.
I don't know, man.
keep on talking about the schmemschmations, and then you can piss somebody off.
Yeah, man. Listen, you go through your Rolodex of people that you want to air it out on. And feel free to come on our show and talk about that.
Yeah,
We
you're
will
welcome
have a
anytime,
great
bro.
time. And I didn't get a chance to introduce the person holding it down on the production tip, Miss Rachel Rota, first show of 2020.
What's up? What's up?
Everybody was hitting me up today like, we still doing the podcast? Yeah, we doing the podcast.
Everybody?
Not you, but so
She got an Eagle shirt on, by the way.
yeah, man. Kind of.
Yeah.
Veteran Stadium.
Veteran Stadium.
That's not
That could be
Eagles, buddy.
Phillies, bro.
Even though it's green and white.
It's green and white, so it's Eagles.
Veterans. I said.
You ever been to Veteran Stadium?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Shanique was messing with me.
What she say? What she saying?
She's sending them pictures of his face while we talk about football.
Let me see.
James had about 2 good years of football in him, and then he was like, I can't do this no more.
Nope.
Yeah. They might trade Cam though.
It's all right. He don't even watch them no more.
No, I don't even watch it anymore.
We'll talk about the UFC next time. That'll get him excited.
Yo, isn't Connor fighting? Connor fighting
I
this
don't
week?
know.
No, I think so. It's a BS fight though.
Yeah. Who's he fighting?
Donald Cerrone. It's just a little gimme. Get everybody back into it, but
Yeah.
So let's talk about everybody's New Year. How was your New Year? Let's talk about your birthday trip, man.
Yeah,
you
birthday
went to
trip.
Nashville.
yeah. We,
Nashville.
Nashville is beautiful, man.
Yeah.
We like
Music
Nashville.
City. You guys been there, obviously, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was nice, man. The wife, she took me down there and surprised me. Took me to the Corvette Museum. You guys know I'm a big car guy, so
Yeah.
that was cool.
He's a car guy in the real way though. He's not a car guy like I just want to like have a nice car to bag chicks. He's like,
yeah.
he
I
knows
He
all
really
the
likes
engine
cars.
detail and stuff. Yeah.
all the stuff that'll put you to sleep, right?
Yeah, right.
When I talk about cars, Moan gets bored.
Yeah, I remember. Remember we went to the car show.
Yeah.
we took the train with
Yeah.
the kids to the
Yep.
car show.
Right.
And then I'm just walking around like I'm not really into cars
Yeah.
like that. James goes to me. He's like, "You're not really into cars, huh?" I'm like, "No, dude."
Yeah.
Dude.
That's what the car show is for me. It's just like I'm
Yeah.
walking around like, oh, that's nice.
James was.
I like the concept cars.
Yeah.
Other than that, it's like
Yeah.
I'm really not a car guy like that.
Yeah. But that was cool though, being there, checking it out, a little history,
Yeah.
Eat any good food?
Yeah, it was. They had like what do they call it? Hot chicken down there. But what it is, it's just fried chicken.
fried
but-
chicken with like a honey hot sauce.
No, not the honey hot sauce. They use like a cayenne, like it's like a couple of different, but it's just basically powdered pepper.
Right.
And they dip it in oil.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just really
hot oil.
Yeah, it's hot
drizzled
oil, yeah.
over it. It's you ever go to not first take the Hash House.
Oh
You
yeah,
get
Yeah,
the chicken
yeah,
and
yeah.
waffles
Yeah.
that
Chicken
you
and
get at
yeah.
Memphis style
Right.
or Tennessee style or something, and they put that chili sauce.
Yeah,
on
Southern
there.
hot chicken
Yeah.
or whatever.
Yeah.
they
I
call
didn't like it when I went. I had
It was
the
good. It
chicken
was good, but
waffles.
it's not hot sauce with flavor. It's more just
Spice.
hot.
Yeah.
And we had ribs and stuff like that, and food was good. Scene was nice.
Yeah.
it's crazy to see that one strip like at 9 in the morning. They got bands out there, and it's a little warmer.
Yeah.
So all the windows are open, and they're basically like just wailing music.
Music playing nonstop on that strip.
Kid Rock actually has a venue there.
Oh, does he?
It's a brand new 3-4 floor venue, and it's the loudest one there.
Yeah.
The tour guide said when they had the NFL draft there, that little strip that little area there was 600,000 people.
Wow.
600,000.
Descended on that area, not all in that area, but in that city. You know what I mean?
Right.
But on a average day in the summer, it's about 80,000 people there.
Wow.
But it was nice. The history of the place was nice.
Yeah. Very, very, very much rich music history there.
I think it's like the fourth or fifth fastest growing city.
Yeah.
It's nice just to get out and see other.
All
places,
I think
you know?
about when I think of Nashville is Mindy McCready.
Oh,
Remember that?
Goodness. Yeah.
Remember that? Mindy McCready was this like this. Was she like? She was like a country.
She was a country star.
Yeah, she was a country star in like the 90s.
Yeah, name's so familiar.
And we went out there years ago because we linked up with mutual people somehow. I forget. And then she saw us do something, and she wanted to work with us in some capacity. She was on a reality show at that time.
Yeah.
And she wanted to work with us in some capacity. And I remember just going out there and spending a couple
R&B Jatan?
Yo, it was
Yeah.
weird, man. It was
Alright.
weird. But yeah, she
We've always been in them situations.
yeah. So we spent a few days out there just, meeting people, meeting like music movers and shakers and going to venues, and we sang a couple times. And then like shortly after that, man, she died.
She passed away.
Was it like an overdose or something?
Probably, I don't know.
But I remember like her reality show was a little bit about like her
As
spiraling.
apparent suicide.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I thought it was like
it's
some
something
type
had
of
to do
suicide.
with her kid. I remember
Yeah.
that.
Because when she
Because-
was talking to us about that when we were on that
yeah.
like tour bus or whatever, she was talking to us about like she was trying to get her kid back or something like
from her baby daddy,
Yeah.
or husband or whatever.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, which used to play for the Phillies.
He used to play for the Phillies.
Yeah.
Who was one was he?
What's his name? I forget, but Rachel will probably figure it out.
Yeah.
But
I forgot
remember
about
he
that,
was
dude.
like-
Jamie remembers everything.
Yeah, man. Dude, how you forget about that?
I don't know.
We spent like days with Mindy McCready
On
like,
her tour
some
bus and
random
stuff.
Yeah.
You know my brain.
We went back to her empty ass apartment. Remember?
Yeah.
Remember we went to that dude. We went. They took us to this like she got us in this like old timey exclusive gentleman's
Right.
club like where you can like you know what I'm saying like where where the eyes wide shut parties happen.
Yeah.
You know.
We were definitely like
We were so out of place, bro.
Right.
Like, yo.
They're like, oh, good, the help is here.
Yeah.
All right, Moan, you grab that mop. Jamie, get over there.
Dude, no, it was total opposite. Like
Yeah.
they were just handing us drinks and cigars and like
Yeah.
just
Right,
like
right.
They greet you.
what
with
do you
like
guys
a drink
want?
and a cigar.
Yeah,
cigar.
they're like anything you need. They have like butlers in there and shit.
Right,
like it
right,
was,
right.
and it was in this
Upscale.
old building.
Yeah.
And you had to go in
Yeah.
and like they have to like
Speaking of that, have you guys heard about this thing where, like, men, I think it's mostly men, but there's like these red doors in every city, and there's an app for it, and you could only be invited, and you have to have a code to get in. It's a red door. You have a code. You get text that night. You show up. You press you put in the code,
Yeah.
and there's a password, and you get in. But it's only you.
right. Damn. Nah, I never heard of
Because
that.
I was down there and we saw a red door.
Yeah.
And we saw a guy going in the door. It's like it looked like a house, but it was a red door. It was like a bright red door.
Right. Right.
And the Uber driver told us, yeah, he's been dropping guys off there.
Oh man.
Yo,
It's like a red door.
I can only imagine what's going on behind that red door.
Gentlemen. Because for one of my boys' bachelor party in New York, that was what it was. But the pay, you have to know somebody and you have to pay to get in, obviously. But it's all done through the code and all that stuff like that.
Right,
you know what I
right.
mean? So yeah, it's one of those things. I was like, what is that? And then it's like, oh, that is familiar. Like I've heard about this stuff before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember that going in there and just thinking like some shit goes down in this place.
Yep.
Right.
Like this
Well,
is where.
rich, powerful men, they're not gonna go to like the average.
Yeah. Yeah. I think they were saying Vince Young was a member
Yeah.
when we went there. He was the quarterback for the Titans back
Right. He's a member.
then. Yeah.
Roger Clemens
Roger Clemens
was the
is
Philly or baseball guy.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Roger Clemens
that does
played for
sound
the
familiar.
Phillies?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That does sound familiar now.
Did he?
Yeah.
I don't remember him being on the Phillies.
swore he did.
Maybe later on in life. He didn't
Something
play for the Phillies.
I don't know about.
Sure.
Roger Clemens
Maybe.
was not a Philly pitcher.
Maybe he was. But I swore he was.
Remember, we used to be into baseball back in the day. Like, we used to collect cards.
Right.
I used to be obsessed with the Phillies back in the Lenny Dykstra, Darren Dalton days, Mickey Morandini, who was the dude that played third base. I forget. But, yeah, we used to be into him back then.
John Kruk.
John Kruk on first. Yeah.
These names sound familiar, but
That's when they went to the World Series but lost. And I think it was 1993. But, yeah, I was really into baseball
Yeah,
back
he
then. That's when we used to play.
As a
He
kid.
didn't play for the
I knew he
Phillies.
didn't play for the Phillies. I think you're thinking of Kurt Schilling.
I think I am.
She was married to him or with him or whatever.
Roger,
so that's the guy.
Roger
yeah.
Clemens. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I think she was saying that he was like abusive or something. But
Angel said Happy New Year, by the way, and he said Roger Clemens didn't pitch for the Phillies.
Angel would know.
Of course he would know.
yeah, yeah. Happy New Year, Angel. Yeah,
Spanish people watch baseball.
they love it, man.
Everybody. Spanish, not all Spanish people watch baseball, but no, he's into baseball.
Most
Like,
people,
he
most
plays.
of most.
Yo, Juanita's abuelo.
Yeah,
That's all he watches.
Right.
And the grandmom too.
yeah.
She loves baseball. I try to talk to him about football. No, I
They don't,
ain't no watch.
that. Do they watch soccer?
No,
Nope.
just baseball.
I mean, they're Puerto Rican.
Yeah,
Baseball and
Soccer is not a thing.
baseball and probably boxing.
Yeah.
yeah. Why
Felix-
don't Puerto Ricans
Trinidad.
watch
Trinidad.
soccer like that?
That's not really a Latin. Well, it is.
It
Oh,
is,
it is.
like
but
Mexico.
Really is
Soccer?
yeah.
Yeah,
But it's
Mexico.
more
South America.
Yeah, Central
it's
America.
not really
Yeah,
Caribbean.
not the
Caribbean.
Caribbean.
Yeah. Caribbean people love baseball. though.
Baseball is one of the
Yeah.
biggest things.
Yeah.
Well, actually, only Cuba. Cuba and DR really.
Yeah.
No, Puerto Rico is
Puerto Rico
It's
too.
big in
huge,
Puerto
yeah.
Rico. Yeah.
Basketball is really big in Puerto Rico now, but
I was
but
gonna
yeah,
say that.
baseball was really big. Venezuela too.
Yeah, Venezuela had a lot,
Baseball,
but they're
was
not.
really big.
They're more South America.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They don't really compete in soccer like that either.
Venezuela. Yeah, they're getting
they?
better. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
they're you know, sometimes they have some good guys that come out of Venezuela.
Yeah.
But yeah, most of
World Cup this year, right?
Is it?
man, I don't know.
Who knows?
I don't
can't remember.
think so. I think it's
Isn't
like
there some cup this year?
Euro Cup.
I don't know.
Euro Cup, probably. Yeah.
Probably is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Euro Cup's pretty big. Remember we were in
Dude,
London
I remember
during the
that.
Euro Cup.
We were in London during the Euro Cup and went to watch England play. We went out to eat while England was playing in the Euro Cup, and it was
Mayhem.
crazy. Yes.
So at our hotel we had every game they had a ball
Yeah.
where you can win, and Jamie ended up winning
Yeah.
the ball. So we took it out and then we walked the strip with the ball.
2:00 in the morning.
2:00 in the morning.
We walked up. We just had the ball. We had just won the ball, so we were just walking. It was after the games, so we were just walking down the strip, and we had the ball in our hands.
Bars were crowded.
Yeah. So next thing we know, people were like, "Hey, pass
Oi!"
the-
No,
pass-
no, they were like, "Oi!
oi, oi, oi!" So
Pass the ball.
Yeah, yeah. So, so a whole soccer game breaks out in the middle of the street with a bunch of people in like club clothes. Like,
Yeah.
very-
Girls on
girls
heels.
with heels. We have. If you go through them drives, if you see like a folder for the UK trip, there's video and pictures of the girls like playing soccer in their
Oh
heels.
wow.
Yeah.
Because we were like, "Yo, this is crazy."
Did you get the ball back?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
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 We brought that ball home.
Wasn't a good ball.
No, it wasn't. It was a cheap ball.
Yeah.
They were giving it away at the hotel. Like
Right, right.
that was the thing. Like in the lobby, they would have the games playing, and you could enter a lottery for like each game you could play. You could
Right.
enter in to win the ball.
Okay.
So we ended up winning it, but
Yeah, but
it was that was a different way to watch soccer. Like
right.
in a environment where it's so huge.
Yeah.
I mean, it originated in England, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was different to see it in that element rather than just watching it here.
Yeah, they love it out there. I didn't realize how much. Well, I knew that was a sport, but it was like a love for it.
Dude, they have gangs. Well, they had gangs.
soccer
Yeah, I
Yeah.
saw. What was a movie that
There was a movie about
I watched
that,
a
yeah,
movie about that.
Yeah.
They're crazy.
where they.
I mean,
they
every culture has
Hooligans,
something
that's
that
what
they
hooligans.
like. and
Yeah, but to develop gangs based around the team that's
listen,
in your-
that would happen. That would happen here with football. If
Green Street hooligans.
Green Street
that would
hooligans.
happen here with football, and football is like a stadium, like going to like a tailgate, like it could easily,
No, but it's like it's
over there
different.
it's way more intense.
Because you got you think about the Premier League, like you got
Think about how small England is and how many
well,
teams.
yeah,
Oh,
and
yeah,
think
yeah.
about like
Europe in general.
Well,
Yeah.
think about London. We
Right.
were in London. You got Tottenham, Arsenal, West Ham.
Manchester.
Well, I'm talking about just in London.
Oh, okay.
You got Chelsea,
Mm.
Fulham. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
you have all these teams. That's 5
Just
teams.
in one city.
Just in
Yeah.
one city.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So then those little areas, pockets of the city become
Yeah, yeah,
little
yeah.
gangs.
Right,
like,
right. And that's what would happen.
Yeah.
But that's what sports does, though. It creates. That's not surprising that it would do that.
I mean, on an extreme level. I've
But it would
never
get.
seen-
What I'm saying is, football would get like that if there wasn't the police out there too. Like you know what I mean. Like in London, nobody's afraid of the police because they got those batons.
and those them stupid ass hats.
Stupid.
But yeah, like
Here.
in the 70s and 80s, that was like they would literally go look for
Other teams,
opposing-
Yeah.
and
It gets
stuff.
out of control.
Yeah, it does.
But it was like that here. Sports, from some of the clips I've seen of,
Yeah, you have your idiots that are drunk and want to fight because someone has the wrong jersey on, which I'll never understand. But yeah,
Yeah, it's stupid.
once you start seeing the the Buccaneer gang jumping people in, it's like or
The Dolphins gang.
right or the White Sox versus the what's the other Chicago team in baseball? White Sox and
Red Sox.
Red Sox?
No.
Wait,
Oh.
no,
White
Red
Sox
Sox
and
is
Cubs.
Boston, right?
the Cubs.
But the
Cubs.
thing was, but they're in different leagues anyway.
Yeah, I know,
So it's like,
but still,
it doesn't work.
Hey, what's up, Gina?
But anyway, so anybody got any good New Year's resolutions?
I mean, I could go for days on that, so I'm gonna leave it alone.
What's the main one though? What's the main thing you want to do this year?
The main
what's your
thing?
main focus for 2020?
Focus.
Just focus.
Focus
On him.
For me, it's focus on God. Just going deeper, separating myself from religion. You know what I mean?
Right,
Like my
right.
old way of thinking. I just feel like that's what's 2020 is about. That like 2020 vision. You know what I mean? Focus. Like you can't really like the sharper your focus is has to do with knowing Him more. You know what I mean? So that's I don't know. I just feel like that's what is going to happen this year, and it's going to be like you look at what already happened on January 3rd.
right.
And I think there's just like I'm like kind of being prophetic right now, but I think there's a dividing line that's happening. Like you're either gonna be moved by fear and by your emotions, or you're gonna be stretched where the limits that you had are gonna come off. But in order to do that, you gotta focus.
Right.
You know what I mean? You gotta focus on Him. So.
Right. Focus on what's important instead of focusing in on all of the barrage of information that's kind of what I was saying to Mike, remember when he was texting us
Yeah,
about
yeah.
because Mike our drummer Mike was texting us the other day about like how do I find out what's really true about what's going on in the news? I'm hearing all this stuff and I don't trust CNN after y'all showed me those videos. I'm like, dude, don't even focus on that. Like don't let that. It's all designed to put you in fear to get you to move one way or the other. Like
It's funny that you said that. On the way back from the plane, I sat next to an interesting gentleman, and we were just talking. And he said that he is a robotics engineer. He designs. I just so happened to be reading the Corvette magazine.
yeah.
And he said he designed a couple of those robots that paint the Corvette. So I was like, hey, man, I was just, and he's like, okay. So we began to talk. He is one of the he has a team, a project manager team, and they come in and they'll design the robots to move certain parts. And as we were talking, he said that he is 52, but when he was like around 45, he was on the verge of, he was drained, and he was like, doctor basically said, you're so stressed in your body, and he was like, his health was bad, and he said, because he was an independent contractor, both him and his wife, they were able to take a month and a half off, and they spent it in the Bahamas. This a few years ago, and she has family there. So he said while he was there, they spent a month, but there was no TV, there was no nothing, there was no stress in life. It was just simple life. And after like 2 weeks,
He detached. He unplugged.
yeah, he
from
detached.
everything, right.
So he said, my health was really poor. And he said, after 2 weeks, you start becoming, the locals know you. You
Right.
start, you start almost assimilating to their life, you know. And he said for that month and a half, he's like, whatever it is that I was feeling, I didn't think of work. I didn't nothing. We just focused on each other. He's like, my wife and I started really bonding again. The things that we used to fight about, none of it was in existence anymore. We intentionally just check email, just contact us through email. And he said for that month and a half, he regained his health. The relationship with his wife was stronger. He had a better outlook in life. He landed back in the United States, turned it on. Who won the championship? War, death, murder, Dancing with the Stars. Who won?
Yeah.
Who won the Super Bowl?
Right.
And he was like, immediately, I started feeling that sense of anxiety again.
Right.
Because I was bombarded with all of this.
That's what it's designed to do, and that's what people don't understand. Is like this constant.
But we're doing it to
barrage.
ourselves.
Oh yeah. But we're doing it to ourselves unknowingly, though.
Right.
You know what I mean? So that's
gotta
that's,
know.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like you think that it's normal. It's been so normalized
Right.
to just turn.
And you
on
feel like
this-
you're missing out.
Yeah, you got to put every time you got to have a screen in front of you. You got to have this screen and then that screen and then the other one over there, and you
Right,
can't
right.
miss a thing.
And then
it's
people,
like,
people feel like the news. Did you hear?
Right.
People want to drop the news too.
Right.
You know,
Exactly.
So, and that's what he was telling me.
people want to trend on Twitter and be the first one to say it's like, but when you can take a moment and step back from all of that, it makes it easier. It does take like a month or two to like
That's
really
what he said.
separate
He
yourself.
that was not his intention. He
Right,
said that just happened to work out that way.
But
you know?
it's a clear sign that like what we're experiencing on a day-to-day basis, especially when you're like constantly hit on your you don't even have to watch the news. If you're on Facebook and your feed is constantly hitting you with fear, it's fear-based trauma that you don't even realize you're inflicting on yourself, which
Right.
is causing you to put you in a
Right.
state of anxiety,
Right.
which then causes all these other emotional issues. It
Yeah.
damages your relationships. It puts you in a state of fear, and now you all of your relationships suffer. Your own health suffers because of that, and then now you're medicating, and you know what I mean. And it's
Right.
just a constant cycle of crap.
Right.
that we
And it's
need
like nothing that happened you can control. There's
Right.
nothing you could do
Right.
to prevent.
And the thing
Of
about
course,
it
you
is,
know?
that there's been worse stuff going on since the
Right.
beginning of time. But when you're not made aware of it, when you
Yeah.
can only focus on what you have control
Mm-hmm.
over, when you can only be in the bubble of your family,
Yeah,
and
you
your
would focus
town,
on your
and your
family,
neighborhood,
your life, your kids.
none
your
of that
wife.
stuff
No,
affects
it don't
you
matter.
until you know about it, and then it becomes this fear that looms over you.
Right.
But besides that, it doesn't affect you. T. Shaw said, "Amen, brother." He was talking about you when you were talking about. Yeah, T. When you gonna come on the podcast, man? We got to have him
Right.
on.
Yeah.
I know it's a far drive for you coming all the way
It would
from
be
New York.
nice to have him on.
It would be good to have you on here.
But yeah, it was funny because you guys said focus like 20 times.
Yeah.
while you were
Yeah,
talking.
yeah.
But that's what you said. Focus.
Yeah.
2020.
Yeah. And that's what he
2020
was
vision.
trying. Yeah, he was
Yeah.
teaching me about
That's
it.
that's
Yeah.
a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think fasting. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and fasting doesn't just mean fasting from food. Fasting
Right.
from all kinds of things.
Dude, that's what that is, right? That's fasting from
Yeah.
from that kind of feeding your brain
Yeah.
with
Yeah.
news and TV and,
Yeah.
and information from
Yeah.
even the YouTube and all of that stuff. Is like sometimes you need to fast from those things.
Yeah.
You need to separate from them.
Yeah.
And even like what you were saying, the anxiety. It's funny because you're attached to all these things because you feel like you have to control it. It's funny. I was listening to somebody talk about. It was a girl who was talking about her husband, and she was like, "Oh yeah, I gotta go home because my husband thinks that I have to be there for the game because it's the last time they won when I was there." Like,
Right.
Yo,
Yeah,
people
like-
crack me up with that.
it was like this
juju.
whole thing,
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
and you can't, and he had to stand up, like she's telling me, like the whole game he has to
To
stand up.
recreate it. Yeah.
And I'm
Yo,
just-
it's like
I'm
this
laughing,
false sense of
but-
I'm in control of this situation
Right.
that you can't control.
right,
That,
and nobody can be there. You know what I
Right,
mean?
right.
Like he can't watch the game with anybody.
And at the end of even like Rachel was texting me at the game like this is bullshit, and we were both like, yeah, it sucks. But at the end of the day, we're both like, we don't care that much.
Back to real life.
Right,
Anyway.
right? They're all millionaires at the end of the day, and we still got to do what we got to do. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
It's mastering. For me, I would say mine is procrastination. Learning how to really not procrastinate. I feel like that's something I really have to work on.
Yeah.
Because I find myself sometimes in a whirlwind. Not just with social media or YouTube, but with anything. I really need to stay focused.
Yes,
Yeah.
It all goes back to.
Oh, I want to say what's up to
2020.
my neighbor Jason Gandy, and he said, "Amen. Keep that attitude of gratitude. Happy New Year. Happy New Year to you, man."
Yeah,
and
man.
T said,
Happy
"I'm
New Year.
down. It'd be nice just to see y'all. Miss my brothers. It's a priority, actually. 2020 focus. That's right, man.
That's
Come on.
right.
Yeah, we got to get together, man. We haven't seen T in so long." And we got to get the families together. But yeah, it would be great to have you on the podcast to get your perspective on a lot of the things that we talk about, because just his experience as like a CEO and a military guy who's had like secret, what's it called?
Clearance.
Clearance. What's it called though? The
Classified?
Classified.
Yeah, he's had like classified clearance.
I'm sure he's going to be willing to share that here. So check this out.
So guys, let me give you all the. But we've had conversations about it.
Yeah, I
'Cause
mean,
did
there's
work-
some stuff he can share.
Yeah, because he worked for the Department of what was it, National Security or something,
Dude,
Homeland.
Homeland Security. Yeah, I
Homeland.
think it
Yeah,
was.
I think it was
yeah,
Homeland.
one of them. I don't ever.
We'll get that. We'll get
Yeah,
that
we'll get
info
that
when
from
it gets there.
But and now Denver is a congressman.
Yeah, that's
You
crazy.
know?
That's
So
crazy.
he's heavy in politics now too, which is crazy. But yeah, 2020 is definitely about focus.
Yeah.
I that has been my kind of 2020 mantra too. Is like I need to focus on whatever it is, even my health, like getting back in shape. Really focusing on my diet again, focusing on God and getting deeper there.
And I think, like what you were saying, as you do that, like the distractions start to go away.
and
You
you
know what I
shed
mean?
those anxieties without even thinking about it.
Yeah, and that's the fear.
Right.
The fear starts to go away because you settle yourself in what you know is true. You know what I mean? And that's again, focus, but it has to do with perspective. And you need that perspective to be able to focus.
Right,
You know what I mean? If you don't have that perspective, you can't see, right? So now you're focused on the wrong thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, it's once you get that perspective,
Yeah.
it shifts
Yeah.
everything in you. You know?
Yeah, even like I find myself, I'm listening to music, but I'm not really thinking. I'm focusing on the music. And even that, I had to shut the music off.
Right.
When I just want to think.
Dude, I think about that now so much. Like, how much are we keeping our brains
Stimulated.
stimulated? to the
and I'm
point
awkward.
where we don't spend any time alone thinking.
I literally,
Yeah.
started off the year, spent a good 20 minutes rolling through a playlist.
Right.
And I'm wasting time.
Yeah.
I'm wasting time on a playlist. And I got stuff to do.
Dude.
Yeah. I was just talking about that with my wife because we're trying to watch a movie, and it's like
Oh,
it took
Zay,
us
what's up,
probably
Zay?
like
Yeah.
a half hour to find a movie to watch.
Well, y'all on Netflix?
Yeah. Yes.
There's
Yeah.
nothing on Netflix.
Netflix,
Yeah.
you spend more time searching than
You
watching.
spend more
more
time.
time.
And that's what I noticed.
Yeah,
I'm
it's like-
and I literally caught myself. I'm like, what am I? I was like, I got stuff. I got. We were planning the trip. I got to get back with the baby
Yeah.
and stuff. And I'm literally like going through my playlist, like, oh, and I caught myself, and I was like, I have somewhere to be in a few hours, and I'm supposed to be getting this stuff done.
Right.
And I'm literally here playing around, wasting time.
Dude, I see it at the gym all the time. Like, especially when I see people that are like trying to get back in shape and they're so out of shape.
Right.
And they're in the gym, but I see them spending more time scrolling through their phone than doing any exercise.
right.
And I'll be in and out in 45 minutes
Right.
and bust through everything, and they're still on the first machine
Right.
because they've been scrolling on their phone the whole
Right,
time. It's
right.
like,
And there's just that time, like, think, just
Yeah.
talk to yourself. I
Dude.
I talk to myself driving. You know what? I'm gonna take the earphones off, and because you get your coffee, you're listening to whatever podcast that I listened to. I missed it, and I'm listening to that.
that's
and I'm,
another thing. It's like
constant stimulation.
It's gotten to the point where it's like, all right, I need to I need to cut that all off. Like,
Right.
because it's like you want these podcasts because you're getting information.
Get information.
You're learning. It's good for you. But there comes a time when you need to stop
Right.
occupying your brain
Right.
and using it and being
Right.
in your own head. And
I got to
thinking a
implement.
little bit.
Yeah. And you got to realize that the people who are doing this, that's their business.
Right.
Their business is to keep you entertained.
They keep you
Yeah.
That was
engaged.
the thing I got. Like, God gave me this little thing, and it really hit me about myself, like seeking knowledge. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I think it was those who seek knowledge without the leading of the Father are a dishonor to His name, and their children will be led the way of destruction.
Right.
Right? And it was like, yeah, because if you think about it, like, there's so many things, and it has to do with like division and multiplication also, because there's so many things out there that you can just pull from, and you'll be endlessly pulling from all these things,
Or they can pull you.
or they
Yeah,
can
yeah,
pull
yeah.
you.
Right.
Well, you're pulling for it first,
Right.
and then they, you're
Yeah.
you're reaching for it, and then
Right.
eventually it's
Yeah.
But we don't know how to order these things.
Yeah.
So you're getting all these things, but you don't know how to put it in order.
Right, right.
You don't know how to, that's where the multiplication comes into
Right.
play. But really, you're just causing more division. You know
But
what I mean?
division is multiplication in a sense, right? Because it's like it's the weird dynamic of it, because you see all of these little pockets of information form, and then they end up dividing in
Right.
where they don't agree,
Yeah, it's
and then
just-
that multiplies into more because
Right.
of those
Yeah.
divisions. And now it's like, okay, well, you're chasing all of this now,
Right. And right. So now you're making yourself crazy.
Right.
And you're what's the word?
You see it in science. You see it in
Yeah.
religion. You see it in politics.
Yep.
You see it in you see it
yeah.
in the Me Too movement. You see it in,
Church.
Yeah,
Yeah.
everything. It's just like-
Decompartmentalized.
Right.
Like you're just this thing was a thing, but now it's broken off into all these other
Yeah.
things,
Right.
and it just doesn't stop.
And
Yeah.
you that's what it is. You end up in a whirlwind. You were looking for this thing. You found it, but then that thing led to this other
Right.
thing and that thing and that. And next thing you know, you're way off track.
That's why they call it a rabbit hole, man.
Yeah.
It's a rabbit
And
hole.
and I think that has to do again with control, comfort.
Right.
Because once you grab some knowledge, like, okay, I know this now,
Right.
but you're not really good.
Right.
You know what I
Right,
mean?
right.
Because the moment something comes along to defeat that, now you're like,
Right. But we
I think is a go ahead.
I was gonna say we have to accept that this is here to stay. We're in
Yeah.
the era of technology, but we don't have to overstimulate ourselves.
Right.
We can regulate this thing. So that's what it is. It's like the first 10 years of this being here, we didn't understand it,
It's so new, man. We're figuring it out.
Figuring this
It's
out,
like-
right?
It's like this weird.
but now we know
Right.
we have 10 years of evidence to
Right.
show that. All right,
Yeah.
it's good. It's a tool.
but it's also bad, and there's downsides to it.
So
and
this decade that we're in, this next decade, are we gonna let this thing rule us?
I think there's going to be a dividing of that.
Right.
Like, who
I-
is able to rule it and who is going to be ruled by it.
Yeah.
I think the phone is like the new TV. Like my parents always used to talk about, like when we were coming up, like you sit in front of the TV, you're just gonna like waste away. You're
Yeah.
gonna like waste your life away. Like we could never have video games because they were like,
You're
you
melting
already
your
have
brain.
a TV,
Yeah.
right? Like you don't need video games.
Right.
Go
Right.
read a book. Go play an instrument. Go outside. Come back inside. Eat some
Right.
food. Like be a human being.
Right.
But like so many people, if you think about like TV and cable and that becoming something that like is just in your house, like waste away in front of the television. Like as soon as they're done with their job, they would come home.
Turn it
Older
off.
people in front of their stories all day. Like that's not stimulating your brain. Even if
Yeah.
you're living and you're retired and you're living
Yep.
from 60 to
Yep.
80, you're sitting in front of a television like all day. That's like
it's occupying your brain. That's
Yeah.
what it's doing. And
so I feel like the phone is the new that. Like the
Right.
TV was of a couple of generations ago, and now we have this new and improved like TV to just
but
stimulate
it's,
you.
But it's even worse
all the
because
time.
now it goes with you everywhere you are.
Yeah.
So now every idle moment you need to be stimulated.
Right.
It's like if I'm standing in line for something,
the option
oh,
is
I gotta-
always there.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
If I'm on the train, I gotta. If I'm sitting, if I'm having a conversation and it's boring to me, I'm pulling. You know what I'm saying? It's like no, seriously. Like this is the world we live
Yeah,
in.
it is. Like
It's
if
like-
you don't want to talk to somebody.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like
phone,
yeah.
you know what I
It's
mean?
like you see it everywhere. You can
Right.
go. We make jokes about. Remember, I posted that thing one time about when we were all sitting in the lobby and everyone was on their phone,
Yeah.
and I just filmed everybody because it's just like this is the world. Where, this is how we hang out now. It's like
Right.
we're all there hanging out, but
Right.
we're all on our phone in separate worlds.
Yeah.
But together. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think that's been the problem, like always with technology, new things, and like religion. Religion is like, that's bad. It does this, this, and this.
Right,
you know what I mean?
right.
And you can't see like
It's the devil.
right. Like
Yeah, everything.
back in the day when the TV was
TV
like
was the
just-
devil. Music is
they
the
were
devil.
they were like destroying TVs
Yeah,
in church, certain churches. Somebody was telling me about that.
Yeah, McDowell said
Yeah,
that.
that's
Yeah.
right. But yeah. So I think you need like that focus again. Like let God put everything in order for you. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
you can see how everything can be used for His purpose. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like everything stems from Him. All the technology comes from
It
Him.
comes from
you know what I
Him,
mean?
yeah.
Like
Right.
if we can focus on Him, He can
Make it be, yeah, right.
just put it back into
Right.
order in our lives and not
Focus.
make it a.
So how do you think someone? Okay, we recognize that because we're seeing this thing within us. But what advice would you give someone to say? How do you pick up on this before it's too late? You know what I mean?
It's hard to tell someone that, man, because I think,
Because they feel like you're trying to control them.
yeah, exactly. I think people always, it's like telling someone, don't do drugs. You know what I mean?
Don't
like,
eat McDonald's.
Yeah, it's like telling someone that.
It's
It's
cheap.
literally,
Yeah,
it's
I
literally
mean-
like telling someone don't do drugs.
I
Like,
think there has to be a relationship there. I think there has to be some kind of honor there. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like, and he like, that's a lot. That's
Trust. You have to have a
missing.
trust
Yeah, that's,
established.
yeah, something. I mean, if you're talking to some guy and you're like, listen,
Right.
then it's like, okay,
You need to
dude,
put that
I ain't
phone
listening.
down.
Yeah.
Shaniqua and I were talking about that. We were saying that I was going to talk to you and Liz about this too. We were thinking about starting to do family dinners again, like Sunday dinners,
yeah.
and have a basket,
And all the phones go
and all
in
the phones
basket.
go in the basket.
Yeah.
And we're gonna do what we did on what was that day we did? We had all those games.
Oh, yeah, on Liz's birthday.
Liz's birthday.
Yeah, yeah.
We don't always have to do that, but
Right.
we have something like that.
Something where everyone can be engaged.
Right.
Right.
And all the children are part of it too. But it doesn't always have to be something silly. You know what I mean? Because if it only turns into that, then that'll
Right.
be the game.
Right,
It's
right.
only about silliness all the
Right.
time. So we have to. We were sitting there talking about like, you know what? Yeah, that'd be a great idea because we were talking about our nieces on her side. Yours are still little. You know what I mean? But we want them to participate too.
Right.
But getting the kids involved.
Right.
So we know that, okay, this is family dinner and you're going to put away these phones.
Right.
And we're going to talk to each other.
Right.
And I don't want to hear you're bored or nothing like that because on your birthday, you're hyped,
Right.
ain't you?
Yeah.
You
On Christmas.
Yeah, on
Yeah.
Christmas. Yeah. Bring that energy.
Right.
you
Bring
know?
that same energy.
You know?
Yeah. No, I'm with you. I've been thinking about that a lot too. And me and you have talked about that before
Yeah.
about like establishing some core things in
Something.
our family. Yeah.
Yeah, because I think with this generation, one of the things I'm starting to notice is this generation, because you remember for a long time people say, man, this generation sucks. Who taught these kids? A lot of people listened.
Right.
Because we're seeing the results and people are starting to see with politics,
Mm-hmm.
with religion, with race, with culture, with music. People are seeing it.
Yeah.
And they're starting.
Hollywood.
Hollywood.
Yeah.
We just talked about
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
We're
yeah.
starting to see people say, wait a minute, this doesn't make sense.
Right.
Let me change something. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Why am I idolizing these people that live in this bubble? Did you ever watch the Ricky Gervais thing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw that.
You
It was,
saw that?
Brilliant.
it was funny.
Yeah, it was. It was not only was it funny. It was. I feel like it was needed
It was
to be
needed.
said.
It was needed, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, just to like break some of the brainwashing, break some of the some people got spells broken because of what he said.
What we're talking
Yeah.
about that's in a larger capacity.
Yeah.
That's essentially what he's saying.
Yeah,
These people on their high horses. You know what I mean?
we're talking about at the Golden Globes. Ricky Gervais did a opening speech.
Yeah, I saw that he did it, but I didn't see it.
Okay, well you should pull it up and then we can kind of talk about it in a sense because some of the stuff that he said was like. Oh, it was done in a funny way.
Right, right.
But he was talking about real stuff,
Right,
real situations. But I think, like you said, people are starting to realize, why are we doing this? This is ridiculous.
We know it.
Yeah.
There's something within us where when you're alone, your inner conscious tells you you're missing on relationships, you're missing on building, and we're lashing out at one another.
Right.
But the answer is right in front of us. We have to compartmentalize the things that we do, and then we have to focus on building the relationships with the people that we're around.
Yep.
Angel
Dang.
said, technology is making us ignorant, and in a way, it is.
And it's crazy.
And I think that's like what you guys are talking about too,
Yeah.
because you think you know so much,
Right.
but you're really
Right.
so ignorant.
that's the problem,
you know?
is that you're being so much information is
Right,
being
right.
thrown in front of you.
That's true.
that-
And it's not it's information that you're quoting. You're just
Right.
repeating something.
Right.
But
And
you
that-
don't know
because,
that.
because people have this mentality, and a lot of people that we know, not to mention no names, but there's a lot of people that they seek out this information just to have it in their pocket so they can say, all right, I'm gonna use that on somebody, I'm gonna use this, I'm gonna use that. It's
Yeah.
like weapons, you know what I mean? It's
Yeah,
like, all right,
yeah.
got that in my pocket, all right,
yeah.
okay.
You don't really want to learn.
Yeah, you don't want to know nothing. It's like you just looking for the zingers.
I don't know why I felt like Martin. Like when you were talking. Like, okay.
Okay, got that one, got this one. Yeah, but that's what it is, man. People are just looking for little gotcha.
Yeah, but
zingers.
no, what I want to, because you know how sometimes Martin would like bring everybody over and then set them up. And
Yeah,
then be
yeah,
like,
yeah.
All right, I got something for you.
when they he couldn't find his Walkman or something like
Yeah.
that. Remember that?
Yeah.
And he came in with the Nino Brown with,
Yeah,
the
with the dog.
Yeah.
Or when he thought he won the lottery.
Oh,
Remember how he
yeah,
like
yeah.
played them all out.
Yeah. Yo, that was hilarious.
Well, anyway,
I got it here, Rach. I'll send it to you.
I got it. The desktop presenter went down, so I was fixing that.
Oh,
One second.
Okay.
Sounds
Okay.
great. You got the full clip or just a
I
small?
think so. I have it from NBC. It's 7 minutes long.
Oh, yep,
Yeah.
that's it.
yeah. But I was surprised that like he actually said a lot of that stuff.
When-
They knew,
There.
but I don't think they knew that he would go that hard.
I don't think they knew the extent of where he was going with it. Like he literally calls them all pedophiles. Did you see that?
Yes.
Yeah.
No,
There
like
are-
he
the
didn't-
room's
It
uncomfortable.
wasn't like clouded. He said, "You're all pedophile." Like what?
The room is uncomfortable.
Watch. Look at Tom Hanks.
Tom
face.
Hanks is like,
Yo, there's so many memes from that face right there.
Right?
But yo, what he says at the end there just brings it all home.
Right,
Because
right.
first of all, I love that he threw the Greta Thunberg like part in there
Mm-hmm.
because he's making fun of her and making fun of them at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Saying like she's a young adolescent who's barely in school and y'all are in school less than her trying to lecture us
Right,
on
right.
morality and how to live our lives. And it's so funny when you think about what these people are. Like you're looking at people that are dressed up to the nines in these ridiculous outfits with their faces all like smashed up and cut up from plastic surgery with fake boobs and they're up there trying to lecture everyone else
Who flew there on private
they flew
jets.
there on private jets, and like I was saying this to Jake, like their gardeners probably use more water in one day than the entire city of Los Angeles.
There are 5
But they want
homes.
to lecture everyone
Yeah.
else.
Yeah, 5 homes
on
that they have.
What we need to do to save energy. It's hilarious,
Yeah,
man.
yeah. And that's what it is. I think, he's a comedian.
Right.
And I think he's seeing the what the woke culture has done. It's trying to silence anybody who questions anything that these people deem unsatisfactory, right?
Right.
If you come against them, they're fine. I guarantee you there was a whole bunch of people in that audience who had speeches.
Oh yeah.
And when he did that, they were like,
Some of them didn't care. Some of them didn't care.
they didn't care, but
some of them still gave those whack speeches
But-
where
Yeah.
they got up on their soapbox.
but what did it, but
it set the tone to make them look ridiculous ahead of time.
And as you can see, what he said overshadowed everything
Right.
anybody said.
Because you didn't see all the tweets. You saw some of the stuff. You didn't see all the posts about like, look at this amazing speech. All you saw was Ricky Gervais. All you saw was everyone posting what Ricky Gervais
Yeah.
said.
After that, nothing else mattered.
Right,
Nope.
right.
And was kind of cool because every year you get all these annoying speeches.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I mean?
There was
But-
one that was just so ridiculous. Was the chick Michelle Williams, who she went up there looking like 1920s like pinup girl, like dressed all crazy and ridiculous,
I don't
pregnant.
know who that is.
I don't really know what she's in either, but I just saw the post. Went up there pregnant and did this whole speech about how like when you give someone this award, you're validating their choices.
Oh,
You're-
that's
You're validating the choices that they made in acting, and you're also validating all the choices they made in life. and that's a woman's right to choose. And she then
Talking about
connected that
abortion?
into the fact that if she wasn't able to have abortions in her past, she wouldn't be able to be the actress that she is right now. So her right to choose is the only reason why she's getting this award. And I'm just thinking, like,
Wow.
so you're telling us that we need to be you should be applauded because you chose to sacrifice your baby in the past for your
For this.
own narcissistic.
Yeah.
So someone could put a golden plated statue in your hand to validate some shitty role you played in a movie that no one cares about.
Yeah. And
But
she's,
you sacrificed your baby for
and
that.
she's
so-
literally saying like,
right.
this was more important than that baby's
Yeah,
life.
exactly.
You know what I
This
mean?
moment where you
This
put this
right
statue
here.
in my hand
So-
that really means nothing.
I was able to choose this,
Right. Over that.
You know, over that.
Over
Right.
life.
Yeah.
Human life.
But it's funny,
And then,
like,
and then think about like even what that is, like where they're at, what that is, and how it means nothing.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's why it was like when I'm watching it just all of the like all of the things that have been so normalized about this stuff is starting to like just totally melt
Yeah.
away to me, and I'm seeing like the ridiculousness of it
and
for
that's
what it
the,
is.
That's the key, like normalized
Right.
with so many people, because people will just watch this stuff and just, oh well, that's just this.
They watch
You
it and
know,
they
it's just-
want to watch it for the dresses. They want to
Right.
watch it for the outfits. And when you start realizing these people look ridiculous.
Yeah.
These
Yeah.
people, they what are they all got plastic surgery. They all got fake bodies, and they're all like up there trying to. They're so narcissistic that they want everyone to hear what they have to say on their speech. It's like no one cares.
Right. Well, that's the before he made the joke. He said, "Well, you say you're woke,
Yeah, you say you're woke,
you know,
right?
and then he lists all the things that they're part of.
Right. That's
you know?
why he said if ISIS like don't try to preach to us because you guys would sell your own baby
Right.
for an award. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Right.
You would sacrifice your own baby just to have an award.
Right. And I like that someone is starting to speak out. And I think, you know, we had Dave.
Yeah, Dave Chappelle. Well, Ricky Gervais actually has been, if you like been following.
No, he has.
what
That's
he's been
true.
doing on Twitter. He's been
That's true.
calling out a lot of this like cancel culture, woke culture for a long
right.
time now, and it's weird because he's a lefty and he's atheist and he's like.
But you
know-
can still see, you can still be all those things and still
right.
see.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
he
yeah.
he sees where it's headed.
Right.
As far as like the
And a lot of, I think a lot of people, they do know that this is ridiculous. But no, this is the problem: fear. People are very fearful of going against the grain and then being demonized. That's what it is,
Right.
You know, so
Yeah.
so people are, we're trapped in an era of fear. You know, so you say something and you might be ostracized, and you have to explain yourself.
you won't fit in anymore. Yeah.
And someone like that, a comedian, who that's his platform, he has the wit, and he has that. There's nothing they could say to him.
And he's reached a level of success where he doesn't need any of them.
Right.
So that's another part of it.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I feel like if for a lot of those people they can't speak like that because they still need the people in those
They
positions.
think
They think they do. Right.
Right.
T. Shaw said, "Yes, that's right. That right there." And the woman in the audience were literally crying as if they were inspired. Terrible moment. He's talking about the Michelle Williams speech. Like people were crying while she's talking about
wow.
sacrificing her baby for
Yeah.
a gold statue,
right.
because it validates all of the decisions that she's made.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I mean,
Even
and
the
let's
valid-
not even. It doesn't have to be that. It can be other things too, like where people validate why they do.
Oh yeah, no, I know, but I'm just saying in that moment, like what if you break it down to
Right,
its
right.
lowest common denominator,
Right.
what it is, what she's saying,
Yeah.
Right.
You know. And he also said, talking about the Ricky Gervais monologue, I loved it so much, was literally crying, laughing on the floor. The spell needs to be broken. Real talk. It's true.
Yeah.
And that's a lot of why we do this podcast is to like expose a lot of that stuff and break things down in a way where it's like, well, yeah, why do I care about what
Yeah.
dresses celebrities are wearing at the Golden Globes,
Yeah.
the red carpet event, and the what was the chick, the old lady that died after she talked about Michelle Obama being a man? Joan Rivers.
Oh, Joan Rivers, yeah.
Yeah. which is another weird scenario. But
Yeah.
she used to be in charge of that red carpet show that like people were obsessed with, and,
Right,
and I
right.
used to watch that like, yo, this is the most ridiculous thing.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's what it was. I think coming out of that era, the late 90s, early 2000s, I think it goes back to the 80s with Robin Leach, The Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous.
Yeah.
We got a glimpse into the what ifs. And the what ifs was, what if you were rich, you could live like this.
Right.
And then that, because we never saw, we saw one side. We saw wealth and fame.
Mm-hmm.
But we never saw the drugs, the sex, the pedophilia. We never
Right.
saw that. It was glamorized through the medium of TV, and we all watched it.
Cribs.
And then Cribs was our generation,
Right,
right?
right.
But we didn't know that this was rented and this is phony and this
Yeah.
is. So we were able to see. I think our generation saw Cribs when we were in early 20s and fantasized about it because we were different men
Cribs
back then.
was when we were teenagers, right?
Was it teen? No, we were in. It was early 2000s.
When Cribs
Nah,
started.
it was
Nah, I think it was
teenage years,
yeah.
too.
90s?
See if you can
Yeah.
find that when Cribs started. I'm pretty sure it started in the 90s.
Nah, man, it had to. It was after high school.
I think
I
it
don't
was.
know,
in
man.
the-
I think it was like 2001, 2002. But anyway, my point is,
Yeah.
we all were fascinated with it, right?
Mm-hmm.
But we are the generation that lived to see all the celebrities admit that it was fake, it was
Right.
phony, it wasn't real. The record labels did this,
Right.
MTV did this. They fabricated lifestyles for us to have you tune in. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we're literally watching. We were watching things fall apart in front of our eyes. And if you don't want to see it, you don't want to see it. But that's just is what it is.
And that's the reality of TV in general. Like,
2000.
2000, year 2000.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're right.
Yeah,
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, but that's the thing.
Weird.
Yeah.
It's just you now know that that's all fake. And if you
I
want to
think
believe
some
that,
people don't though.
You
Like some
think
people
they know it's
Dude,
fake?
I think some people still watch Love and Hip Hop and think that these are real arguments and real scenarios. Like I think people still do watch that stuff
Yeah,
and think
'cause-
like
Yeah.
Housewives is like these people really get into like this stuff really happens.
Right.
You know what I mean?
They
can't-
don't know.
They don't
Right.
realize how set up all that is.
Yeah.
you think
know?
you think they believe it or they want to believe.
I think they
I think
really
they believe
believe
it.
They
Wow.
really
I think
believe
they
it.
believe it.
I want to say, like, once you see something is like that, because there's so much like breaking stuff apart, analyzing stuff, but then it's like, okay, now what? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And-
of course. But you still, the curtain needs to, it's like the Wizard of Oz, right? It's like that whole concept of like, they thought that they needed to do all this stuff to get the wizard to grant their wish. But once that curtain was pulled back, it brought reality to the situation.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And,
And
that's
then they
what I'm
had to
saying,
move on
to
from there.
see that,
Right.
and then to be like, okay, I need more. You know what I
Right.
mean? I need some.
Right.
Because even these people, like, it's not like they're unredeemable.
No,
it's
no,
not
not
like
at all.
Michelle Williams can't.
No,
see
nobody's
it
a throwaway.
and turn it around. Like, I'm just saying, like,
Yeah.
there's another aspect,
Right.
like, because just like Love and Hip Hop, why do people tune in? They tune in to judge,
Right.
and be like, oh, I'm not
But
that
this
bad.
this is
Right,
this
right,
is
right,
this
right,
is my
right.
point in what I'm saying. I'm saying it not to say like, look at Michelle Williams, she's terrible. What she's getting up there saying. What I'm saying to people is stop idolizing these people.
Yeah.
Stop idolizing a Michelle Williams.
Yeah, when you
because
break that down, that's
she's
a bad
getting,
decision.
She's getting on a platform and releasing this spell on the masses
Right.
because that's what it is.
Right.
And if you're not in a position where you care what the hell she's saying, that doesn't work on you.
Right,
Right.
right.
You know what I
right.
mean? So that's all it is.
Right.
She's definitely redeemable and it can always be changed. So, but it's not about her. It's about you and what you allow to influence
Right,
you.
right.
You know
now,
what I mean?
now, let me help people understand that. What if a man got up there and said, "I would like to I abandoned 7 kids so I can focus on my craft.
That's like the Dave Chappelle
I
joke,
don't,
right? Right.
I didn't really need those bastards, and that's why I focused on my acting craft. And I would like to thank everybody.
It's not the same though because those kids are still alive.
Yeah, right.
No, it don't. It's talking about the ridiculousness.
No,
The
Yeah.
of it.
ridiculousness
Yeah,
of it.
but
It's
it-
like,
If you
I
really
know.
break it
I like
down,
I like to give a shout out to Ray and Shaquan in the projects. I left them when they was 4 years old so I could pursue this rap career. If it wasn't for that, I wouldn't be where I'm at right now.
This is why. Look at your dad. I know I wasn't your
Yeah,
dad, but
right,
look at your
right.
dad.
Look what I did.
I did it.
See? Yeah, it's ridiculous, man. It's
and that's
ridiculous.
I think that's what the whole thing is when you really peel this thing back, you can see it. And if you want to be blinded, fine. But the rest of us,
Yeah.
we see
and
it.
we got to keep talking about it in a way where people can see it differently. So it's like, oh yeah, I never thought about it like
Yeah,
that.
no, I'm not definitely, but I'm just saying, like somebody like Ricky Gervais. That's
Ricky
his name,
Gervais,
right?
yeah.
Yeah, like it's cool what he did. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? But
Right.
there's more.
Right,
You know what I mean?
absolutely.
And like if you just stay where he's at, it's not gonna be.
Yeah.
No.
You know.
No, but that's because what happened is this: people are not even talking about the Golden Globe. They already forgot who won.
Right.
They're talking about what he did.
Right.
Yeah. Right.
And that's to me, it's like the whole Dave Chappelle thing. You know, the fact that he did it that way.
Right.
It's people. All the comics are being inspired. Like,
Yeah.
all right, I can't worry about
Right.
pleasing everybody. I gotta say it.
I gotta say, I gotta
takes,
be
you know,
true to what comedy is for.
It
Right.
takes somebody to like step out there.
Yeah.
Right. And from that, honestly, other people are inspired. I think a lot, even churches, pastors, they're all afraid to say something.
Right.
You
I
know?
mean, even in a normal conversation with people, strangers you don't know,
Right.
know there's certain things you have to avoid
Right,
saying
right,
because
right.
it just
They censor themselves.
It makes tension in the room when you talk about the topics that are not to be named. You know what I mean?
Right.
I just wanted. John said he was 10 when Pimp My Ride was. Not Pimp My Ride. That's the other one.
But that's another
retarded show.
Right.
Cribs was out and he said, and he's just finding out it was fake now.
That's why he moved to LA. When are they gonna pimp my ride, man?
No, Cribs. He just finding out Cribs was fake.
Right.
Yeah, I mean it's dude. I just watched the interview with it just came up in my thing, so I was like, let me check on this dude from the dude that was the parent of the late. They had the show. John and Kate plus 8. They had the show on TLC where
Yeah, I remember that.
remember
Yeah,
when they
yeah.
had like the big ass family with the half Asian, half white kids. And he was under a gag order for 10 years where he couldn't talk about what was going on because of TLC and all this stuff.
Right.
So he finally can talk about it now. So he just did an interview with Dr. Oz. I never watched Dr. Oz, but I just wanted to see what he said, his side, because there's been all this stuff that's been going on,
yeah.
and then, like, have you heard about some of the kids and like some of the trauma that they've been dealing with from that show, from growing up, like people don't know what they started with, kids growing up on reality TV that didn't ask for that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And apparently the mom was like all about like pushing them to constantly be on TV because she got addicted to the fame and the money and but he was talking about a little bit about why he didn't want to film anymore, and he was saying that people don't know that you can't even make regular decisions for your family. Like if I wanted to buy them a certain food or diapers, it had to be cleared by what brands the TLC, you know what I'm saying? Like in the contracts, it's like it becomes too much. And then you start seeing like how they're always in your house. They control your life. They control your kids. So he wanted to be done with it. And she was totally decided to turn them all against him and be like, no, she wanted to keep filming.
Wow.
So then they end up getting divorced, but then she, created this whole situation, and TLC paid for all her lawyers in the divorce thing. He had to pay for everything himself. So he spent mad money on the divorce. She got it all covered by TLC and was able to win legal custody and then do whatever she wanted. And then one of the kids ended up in like a mental facility. And then it's crazy. The boy like smuggled out a letter through his roommate that got to his dad, and his dad found out that the boy needed to be rescued because like they were abusing him, and he said the mom was abusing him, and she just self-diagnosed him and admitted him to this thing. But he had trauma from growing up. He was 12 years old at the time. He had trauma from growing up since a baby in the public eye and on a reality TV show. So the dad finally got him out of there, and now he's like going through trauma therapy and like all this stuff. And he's got, I think the dad finally got custody. He presented that letter to the judge, and even the mom wouldn't tell the judge where. No one knew where the kid was. She wouldn't tell them where he was. So she wouldn't even tell the judge.
Wow.
So then he had to find out where he was and get him out of there. And now I think two of the kids live with him now. Like two of the ones that want nothing to do with the show. Is
that show still on?
I think it just ended. Like not that show, but she's had multiple shows
Right,
since
right.
then. She keeps like trying to get more and more shows.
Watch me get pregnant again.
Right? No, it was
Yeah.
it was about her dating life.
Her dating
Oh,
life.
yeah, it
goodness.
was about her dating life, and then like the kids would be in it. You know what I mean?
Right.
But
Jeez.
like,
On
it-
tonight's episode of Bad Decisions.
but this is what I'm saying. Like, people just think, oh, it's gonna be great. We're gonna, we're gonna
Right,
be
right.
rich. We're gonna be famous. All our
Right.
kids will be on TV from time.
I know I'm
People
using
just-
the wrong word here, so correct me. But I think we live in a voyeuristic society. I know that's sexual connotation wise, but I can't find the right word to describe this.
Yeah.
Where we want to peek into people's lifestyle,
Yeah.
and we're fascinated to see.
I mean, it is
you-
a sort of seduction.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like I said, I know I'm using the wrong context of the
Right.
word, but that's the only thing I could. Where you're watching something and you
get that sense of
Yeah.
like, oh, I get to watch them, but they don't get to watch me. Watch
right,
them,
right,
so
and
I
you
can
want to
do-
see how
Yeah.
Peeking
maybe,
Tom.
Yeah.
maybe like what you said earlier.
Peeping Tom.
You want to see
Tom.
that your life is not that bad,
Right. Yeah. You want to validate your life.
or
by
is it
saying-
good or bad or
yeah.
something. But that's kind of what it is.
Right.
I remember my sisters and I watched the first.
James, that word also, like by definition, is not just sexual in connotation, but also a person who enjoys seeing the pain or distress of others.
All right, let me text that to my wife
you
because
go.
she was the one that corrected me.
Yeah, oh, she tried to. Oh, you better get her. See, you don't gotta correct. You don't gotta text it to her. She's
Thank you,
watching.
Rachel.
We know she's watching because you're here.
I need. She's like, Rachel.
Like Redskins fans and Giants fans.
No, it is. It is.
around
I
this
think it
area.
is. I think it is something that makes us curious about watching other people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
It's the nature. Like I think it's
Right.
our fallen nature of trying to judge good
Right.
and evil.
Right,
You know what I mean?
right.
Trying to put everything
it's
in
our-
our box,
Right,
So
right.
we feel comfortable with ourselves.
And validate your own decisions.
Right.
It's almost
Right.
like a false foundation.
Mhm.
Like we're settled in our,
Right.
I'm good.
Oh,
Like,
I'm good.
Yeah.
I don't do that,
I don't
so
do
I'm
that,
good.
yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, I have a firm foundation.
Yeah.
My house is on solid ground. Type
But
thing.
what's crazy is like a lot of the people that you see watching those shows. Like I notice like people that watch Love and Hip Hop all the time, or watch Housewives all the time. They start portraying that life. Like they start acting it out.
Yeah,
They
I
start
know.
talking like them.
Yeah.
They start like being in situations
Right.
that they wouldn't normally be. And it's like, I thought you were watching it because you wanted to see the train wreck.
Yeah.
Like you're becoming the train wreck.
Yeah.
Like, so what is really happening here?
Yeah.
You're actually idolizing it in a way, and don't.
Yeah. We all are doing it. We all are doing it in a way. We do it with sports. Men do it with sports.
Yeah.
We don't know nothing about what's happening economically, but we can quote stats from
Yeah.
1982.
Exactly.
It's
Name
like
all the players.
Yeah, we know. It's
Simone.
My memory's not
Won't be
that.
getting it wrong.
My memory's not that good.
But it's true. It's true. It's like you can't help
What
your
is it-
kid with their math homework, but you can know all the stats for the
right.
Eagles.
I'm ready
from-
to fight.
Yeah, and be
know.
ready to fight about it. Yeah,
I can't help Noe with Common Core. I'm sorry.
I know Liz be getting so frustrated with Common Core, and I just gotta like I try to break it down in ways that make sense. It's so extra. That's
Yeah,
what it is.
it's extra.
It's just extra. You take a simple math problem and turn it
Yeah.
into 18 steps.
Yep. Yep.
And it's like now I got to take you through these 18 steps.
But that's another thing too. When you do a little research, you find out that the guy who created Common Core, that was to create a permanent working class.
Right.
The whole
Exactly.
purpose of that type of lessons, the high school, was to permanently create a working class. They need to have workers. You need to have people who are always going to be workers. They're never going to
Cashiers.
Yes.
You
That's
know,
what people
people-
don't understand.
right.
It's not
Well-
about education. It's about creating a permanent underclass. Now, through that, yes, of course, some kids are going to elevate and grow and whatever. Fine. We'll move them up,
Well, think about like biblically, like there therefore remains an entering in, right? What are you entering into?
What are you entering into?
Yeah, you're entering into rest.
Right.
You won't enter into rest if you keep on focusing on all these things to keep you working.
Mm-hmm. Keep you occupied.
divided
Right.
on all these.
Right.
And that's what Common Core is. It's like something that should take you like 2 minutes is going to take you
Right.
15.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And that's what I
that's
keep
the point.
telling
And
Elise.
hold on,
'cause-
let me just
go ahead.
because he said working class, and you think about it, it's about work,
Mm-hmm.
and it's about rest from your work. You know what I mean? So enemy always tries to get you to focus on like even like sleep is the cousin of death. Like always feeling like I'm obligated to work. How many
Yeah.
people feel like
Right.
if I work, okay, I'm good. Like
Right.
it's the same thing. Like being like, look at them, they're lazy. You know what I mean?
Or like the husband that thinks because I'm working,
I'm a good
12
father,
hours
I'm a
day,
good
I'm a
husband.
good father and a good husband,
Yeah,
and
right.
you can't complain about shit. You know what I mean?
Right,
Yeah.
exactly, because I got it all together,
Right.
and you already settled in your mind. I'm good, like,
Right.
and that's that false pride.
Or they get home and nobody better bother me, or I get to what I
Yeah.
mean?
I'm working hard.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like
I'm the man of the house,
Right,
like
right.
whatever. But it's that false pride thing that comes up that you feel like you're okay.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? When you're not.
I'm trying to find it. But
trying to find what
the guy who started it, I can't remember his name.
What were you gonna say?
Rachel's
Thanks.
Rachel's out of commission over there.
What were you gonna say?
I don't remember.
What?
What
What am I looking up?
boring you?
Look, see if you can find out the dude that created Common Core math.
I didn't hear you guys ask for that.
No, James.
No, we
was-
didn't.
Oh, okay.
No, I was
Yeah,
trying to look it up.
we did.
Do we always have to ask?
No, that's the thing. We usually don't, if she's on it.
I
so.
know.
I didn't hear someone say, "What's his name?" I didn't hear that. All right.
No, but we were talking about. I was gonna say something.
Jason Zimba,
Jason Zimba.
Yeah.
Okay.
man behind Common Core Math.
Yeah. So he was Oh, that's what I was gonna say. So, but the funny thing about that is they want to create these like. They want to create this worker class that thinks in that way, but then they're creating technology that's replacing that way of thinking anyway. That's replacing that working class. Like they're not going to be no people at cash registers in the next 10 years. Nobody. Think about how many self-checkout aisles are taking over the registers. Think about how many like kiosks are popping up in fast food places where you just order on the screen. You know what I mean? Like that, all that stuff's going to be eliminated. You ain't going to have to, nobody's going to have to do simple math in their head anymore. No, who's going to have to do that?
But they can't do simple math.
I know. But that's what I'm saying. They're not going to have to.
Yeah.
Because the
Yeah,
technology,
you're right,
the
yeah.
technology is going to come in and totally replace that.
Yeah.
So
But you still need to do simple math.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You still need.
It's a skill that you need to have.
Yeah.
You should have all your math facts memorized. That's what I was gonna say. That's what I try to tell Elise. Like, just memorize all your math. Let's just go through. Have all these memorized. Multiplication, division, subtraction and addition. We'll memorize all the math facts for that, and then everything else that they're trying to teach you is just steps. It's just steps. Don't get overwhelmed with it, because if you have it memorized, you can always get to the steps. You know what I mean? And that's what it's really about. It's just a memorization thing.
Right.
If you memorize the math facts, everything else comes faster. You can break it down. That's the way you do math in your head, is breaking it down based off of the memorization first.
Right.
You can't go to the breaking down first if you don't have the facts memorized. That's what's dumb about the Common Core process to me. It's like they're trying to take them to the long way before they know the basics, before they know the foundation of how the long way works. You know what I mean?
Right. But that's the thing. They don't want a foundation.
Right.
They want to keep it unsure.
Confusing
Yeah.
to you. Right.
So that you're like, you have to rely on something.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's not really real.
Right.
Like you got to rely on this whole big thing that you don't need.
Right.
You know? And
What-
Cryptocurrency.
yeah.
The people who designed it, they weren't themselves aware of how fast technology was going to change things. So they needed to put these systems in place to, but
Yeah.
now they don't, it's not, of course, like you said, like soon enough robotics and
Automation.
it's going to just take over everything.
Yeah. Especially in those fields. Like,
But what this modern education system has done is already going to be in place. You're going
Right.
to create a bunch of drones anyway.
right.
Yeah. I mean, kids are learning more being on these things.
That is true.
You
That
know
is
what I
true.
mean?
This thing is a tool, and if you use it correctly, you can
Right.
definitely.
You can develop skills
Right.
that you wouldn't normally have, but
Right.
it needs to be
Yeah.
used properly.
And you have to lead them.
right.
You know, I notice with a lot of kids, like, again, if you're, because, like, think about America. Like, you're here in America people come in and they take advantage of stuff that we don't take advantage of. You know,
Right.
so it's like you've had this your whole life that you don't realize what you could use on this,
Right.
how you could take advantage of this tool
Right.
because you're just using it for your own desire, you know.
Or
So-
entertainment.
Entertainment, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, as parents, you have to lead them in to that.
Mm-hmm.
You have to show like you have it here, you
Right.
know, use it.
Right.
And you don't. A lot of times, you see these kids. They don't even think. Like, yo, it blows my mind. Like, how many times I tell people, like, you have a phone,
Right.
just look it up.
Look it up.
And they're like, oh yeah. And I'm talking about young kids. Like,
Yeah.
they don't, because they're not even looking in that direction. They'll jump right on for other stuff.
Right.
But to figure something out, they won't do it. You know. And that's crazy.
Yeah.
Well, this is a new decade, so I'm sure whatever is coming out is going to be, wow.
yeah.
Yeah.
We can't even fathom it.
I think there's
Can't
going to be a
fathom.
lot of crazy stuff coming out in this decade.
Right?
I mean, if Steve Jobs was still alive, we probably have some crazy shit already.
We said contacts. You can see.
Yeah, right. All the augmented reality. Would
I think
just
all
be-
them Chinese people are thanks he's gone.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Thank God that guy's gone.
They probably gave him cancer somehow.
right this way.
Yeah, right.
I don't know. I mean, you know, I feel like with a new decade and all these things going on, like, you know, like,
New decade.
yeah, new decade, man. At
Dude,
least
you
at
ever-
least it's gonna be 20 in this decade, man.
It's crazy.
Dang.
Your son is gonna be 20
I never
years old.
thought like I was saying this when we because we all toasted into the new year when we were in
Yeah.
where were we?
Georgia.
In Georgia. So we were all together. We prayed into the new year, toasted into the new year. But I was thinking about it like, because you think about the 1920s and how far long ago that was, and it just seems like, and I'm like, yo, we in our own 20s
Yeah.
now. Like we get to have the
Yeah,
2020s.
we're in the roaring
The
20s.
roaring 20s.
Young lion.
Young lion.
Roar.
Yeah.
You know?
We're in the soaring 20s.
Yeah,
You know what
yeah.
I mean, eagle.
Yep.
Yeah.
Lions
And,
and
and
eagles.
you know, like, you know, for us it's family, but it's also growing our businesses and, you know,
Yeah.
setting up ourselves, you know. That's one of the main thing for me. It's like going to our next level now,
Yep.
you know.
Definitely.
You know.
About that focus
Yeah.
2020, hashtag focus.
Focus 2020.
Angel Martinez says technological automation is definitely going to lead to poverty. It's going to replace people that depend on those simple positions.
It
Well, I
already-
mean, listen, you can't get caught up on the fear of that. I know a lot of people are preaching that. You know, Elon Musk is talking about that. Andrew Yang, that's his whole platform for you know, universal basic income. But I think if you look at the past, technology has always eliminated.
It always did that,
Has
yeah.
always eliminated industries, and we have always found a way
Right.
to move past that. Other industries open up.
Yeah.
You know, there's no way around that. And I think if you just get focused on the despair of like, what are we gonna do?
Right,
This technology is gonna make poverty. It's like you don't know.
Right,
Don't
right.
even.
I mean, it could. Like, look at different ages where, you know, there was such a divide in terms of, you know, serfs and
Yeah.
people, lords. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, there could be something like that.
Right.
But
But what I'm saying is, it's not gonna be something that just ends us.
Right.
Like you,
Right.
you have to.
People are gonna overcome.
And you have to prepare. You have to prepare. Like do
Right.
some legwork to prepare yourself. To be totally dependent on, you know, this false currency of money that we have totally is not a right way to live either. Like you should have some things in place where you can, you know, grow your own food if it gets to that point. You know what I mean? Learn how to
Yeah.
handle those parts of life.
Yeah.
I think, again, it goes back to trusting in God. You know what
Yeah,
I mean? Like, that's
definitely.
the key to it all, because I think it's going to get darker. You know what I mean? It's going to get darker and things, there's going to be a dividing line. And it's easy to, like, focus on what could happen.
Right.
You know, the fear, like,
Like
definitely
all
with
this World War III stuff going on.
yeah, but even like the technology, like
Yeah.
how things are going to change. Like, You know, I think there's going to be another like industrial, what do they call it? Boom.
Yeah, industrial
Yeah.
boom.
Yeah.
But there's going to be like someone's going to have to manufacture the technology. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
If we can get it out of the sweatshops in China, it might
Right,
create
right.
some new industries.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
absolutely.
Well, people are also waking up to that too. You know, people are seeing that, overspending. Because think about it, we're seeing it right now. We went from the early 2000s with Rockaware and all that stuff. Like none of us are buying that stuff now because it's overpriced clothes.
Some people are. Y'all seen that
Yeah,
video? I
yeah.
sent you?
You might. I don't think people are buying stuff like that as much, but they're still. It's just
Still
going
spending,
into a different.
But it's not as bad as it was in that
Oh,
time.
now they're buying. No, I
I
think
think
it's
it's worse, yeah.
I think
Yeah?
it's worse, dude.
Yeah,
I think
definitely.
there's people, and a lot of them we know. Again, we won't say no names. That will spend 2 paychecks on a Gucci belt.
Oh,
You know what I'm
jeez, wow.
saying?
Yeah.
Just to
Well,
have
I'm
it.
way out of that loop.
You know,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
that's because you grew up.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I
yeah.
mean? Like a lot of
Yeah.
people are still like Leonardo DiCaprio. You
Yeah,
know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah.
Like that joke he made because people can't get past that mentality of I gotta look fresh
Yeah.
Right,
because
right.
somehow that makes me valid. You know what I mean?
Right,
so
right, right.
you got people that are like this new craze with the off whites. You guys hear about that? The
No.
off white sneakers, and they're wearing them with the tags on them. It's like so ridiculous.
They already did that.
It's worse.
Tim-
it's like some
Timberlands.
plastic. It's like, but this is like some plastic, like tag that comes on the sneaker
Wait.
that they have to wear. Yeah, see if you can pull that up, Rach.
What do you mean off
He
white stuff?
appealed to the
Off-Whites.
skit about this.
That's what that's the brand. It's called, or they're like Nikes, but they're called off whites. I don't know.
Right,
I don't
right.
know the whole story. I just been hearing about it.
I laugh at it, man.
Yeah,
I'm like,
it's
I'm not
just-
trying to be like y'all.
You're gonna hear about it soon.
I
That's gonna be the
sure
next
will.
Christmas gift asked for.
Right?
Some off whites. Yeah, that's what it is, man. People are
Shaniqua just said, I'm a little behind, but I'm still not a voyeur, damn it.
Speaking of
Damn
Christmas,
hater. You're a damn
speaking of
hater.
Christmas, James, we saw your jammies.
Hey, man. If you can't beat him, you join him.
And you definitely couldn't beat him, boy. He
Or
tried.
else you get lip.
He tried.
What's up with the Minnie Mouse?
There
though?
you go.
That's
Look, take a look.
I had no.
Oh, but that doesn't have the tags on it.
Oh,
Though,
that says
right?
a zip tie?
Oh, that's a zip tie.
Does it have the tag on it? I don't know. See if you can find some other ones. But
So
yeah,
that's
that's
off white.
yeah. There's different ones. There's different versions.
Okay.
But I don't know exactly what it is. But it's just something else to spend dumb money on
Yeah, yeah.
for no reason to pretend you're part of the crowd. You know. So but to your point, like so there's the tag. So you leave that tag on there when you wear them. I guess that validates them as
$266.
oh yeah, oh yeah,
Yeah.
oh yeah.
And they
I-
look
Down from 380.
Down from 380. Yeah.
And I guarantee you, where is this promoted to or marketed to?
Oh, you know the
You know what I mean?
hoods.
Yeah. So
the
it's like,
hoods.
and how do you get that money?
Right. So it's in our generation it was the Rockaware thing, the Timberlands,
Yeah, yeah,
the Jordans have spanned the test of time, but
Yeah.
now they have other things that
Right.
have replaced that, and in a
Right.
sense, in some ways, it's worse because what they need for validation, like people will spend a bunch of money just to have a Gucci wallet, you know what I mean, or just to have a hat that costs $500 because if like they have to play that part, like even though it's like, yo, you're in high school, no one cares, like
Right.
everyone knows y'all broke. It's like you have to somehow validate yourself. It's just crazy, like, but we all go through it when we're in that age.
Right.
So we just got to make sure that we keep our kids from falling in those traps as much as we can. You know what I mean? They're going to be pulled in those directions. Moan got one coming up. It's going to be a challenge for you. You know what I mean?
he loves shoes.
Yeah,
Luckily, I didn't have to deal with that with Fabian.
yeah. Fabian's a different type of guy.
But yeah, I don't think we have to worry about it. I just think we
Just be mindful, though.
lead them into real things. Things that actually matter.
Right.
Keep
And
that in front of them.
but I enjoy the tactic of using humor and comedy to basically like tear down these ideas of what they hold value to. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Like if you can tear it apart and make them see how dumb it is.
I do it all the time.
You know what
but
I'm
at the
saying?
same time, it's like sometimes
It's not going to work because they still want it. you
right,
know?
right, exactly. So
Right.
I think that's a lead by example thing too. Like when I was younger, like there was like my parents weren't into, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like they needed to look or buy
Right,
a certain
right,
thing,
right.
and it was known that like, okay, if we're getting these $80 shoes, like they better be waterproof or some boots or something, you know, like
Something that's gonna last you
that
10
means
years.
something, right? Not
Right.
like
Right.
we're dropping $300 on shoes because
Right.
Right.
and so like those kind of mentalities, maybe when you're younger, you're influenced by your friends, but eventually that will come back to you. You'll be like, oh yeah, I see what they were talking about.
Yeah.
I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
Like,
Right. Exactly.
Junior said the sneakers are dumb. It's like jerseys back in the day, but those sneakers are dumb. I'm not gonna say said effing dumb, but
He probably sees them a lot too.
Yeah.
With them kids.
yeah, probably. Yeah.
They look like Vans. Get yourself some $50 Vans.
Nah, can't do that, man. You get made fun of. Then you're not one of the cool kids.
Wow.
I guess.
You know, it's so important to be cool. That's another thing we gotta like make fun of. You don't gotta be one of the cool kids.
So we're basically doing all this for teenagers. All technologies for teenagers.
Yo, it's crazy how most things that
Right.
shape the direction of society is led
Right.
by teenagers.
right,
whole music industry, like that's one prime example.
Movies, music, fashion, like
right.
it's crazy.
Yeah.
How did they become? Because they're the ones that most of the money
yeah.
is spent
the
on.
the consumable,
Right.
the most money. Yeah. Free money anyway.
Yeah.
And they can say what they want. Mom,
Right.
Dad, I want this. I
Right.
want this. Like,
Right.
you know.
And you feel obligated.
Right. And parents are trying to compete with each other.
Yep.
So they don't want their kid to
Can't
feel
let
left
their
out.
kid down. Yeah.
You know.
Culture,
Yep. The culture.
and the culture can be changed.
Yeah, I think it is changing.
I think so.
I believe
I
it
think
is.
people are seeing that.
I believe it's going to change.
You
too.
know. I mean, we're seeing those type of things. We didn't think like this 10 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and we're about to enter this new decade. We all have different mindset. We're willing to share with anybody.
Right.
You know.
The whole point, like, what is? A lot of kids are moved by passion,
Mhm.
right? So it's really about that. Like, if there's no passion in something, then it's corny.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, I mean, that might not be the word they use, but you know, it's not worth investing time in.
Yeah.
And even though the passion can be off, the desire can be off, it's still there.
Right.
It's still
And
prevalent.
it can be redirected.
Right. I think too. It's honestly, to be honest, I think it's really men's fault, man. We haven't been good fathers. There was a time when you look up to your dad. Your dad was your superhero, and your dad was the person you wanted to be like the most. And then all of a sudden, that got replaced with athletes and sports stars and movie stars and rappers and whatever.
Which is also by design. I think.
It's by design, no doubt. But I think this is where men need to hold themselves accountable and say, "Hey,
It's your job to step up and
Right.
and put a stop to that and
Right.
break that spell.
break
in your
that
own
spell." Yeah,
household.
you know, if you just allow it to happen, you know, and men are allowing it to happen.
Well, again, like dads who are in the household, like it's statistics, you're more likely as a child to grow up
and be more successful in
yeah.
life.
Right.
Yeah, it's facts.
That's why Asians
Households
are doing
most
so
suc-
good
They're the
because
most
they-
successful households in
Right.
and
the country.
they also are the most what's the word I want to say?
Two-parent homes.
Yeah, I wanted to say I don't know. But yeah, two-parent homes.
Yeah.
They have that's like one of the statistics.
We're talking about the Northern Asians. Not the as soon as they start shading into the
they're
browner ones.
They're the smarter ones.
Yeah, but they have a mother and a father in the household, right?
Right.
It's very important. Yeah.
Yeah.
Those values were here too. Like you said, it was designed. It was also designed to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it was very prevalent in the black. It was more prevalent in black homes than it was in white homes
Oh yeah.
for the
Yeah.
longest. Like, you know, single parent homes were not big in the black families in like the 60s. It started happening after that. So
Yeah,
Right.
well, yeah.
And after integration.
yeah, Yeah,
really.
after integration. Yeah,
You don't want to hear that, but that's the
yeah,
truth.
it's true.
You know.
true.
But I think men need to just step up and just be better fathers, be involving your children's
And better
life.
husbands,
Better husbands, yeah,
better
exactly.
leaders. And the
Right.
only way to do that is to look to your leader
Right.
and get a relationship there, and that will then turn you into a better
Right,
leader.
right.
You know what I
Well,
mean?
like, there's a statement: iron sharpens iron.
Yeah.
So if you're with somebody who is strong or exhibits certain thing,
Right.
and you can work off of them. I was just watching the Kevin Hart docuseries,
Okay.
and
How was that?
it was pretty good.
Yeah.
It was pretty good. I'm not a big fan of him comedically.
Right.
And we've talked about that before.
Mhm.
I don't. The jokes to me, some of them are good, but they're not my
Right.
style.
Right.
But by watching this, I was able to gain a little respect and be like, okay, I see where he is. He's a very loyal guy. He's
Yeah.
very business savvy, like we
Yeah.
talked about. But one thing that happened was when this whole cheating thing went down, he describes it. He was out and about, and he was trying to go to Vegas,
Mm-hmm.
and he called all his crew members, all his main dudes. He called them, and they all said, "Hey, man, you just call me. I can't explain this to my wife."
Right.
All his main guys basically said, "Man, I'm with my wife. I'm with I can't just move like that. I'm staying home." So he still wanted to go. Instead of him saying, "All right, man, well, y'all can't make it out. I'm just going to shut it down."
Right.
What he did was try to create a crew around the situation.
Right.
So he called up all the others, all the backup guys.
Randos,
Yes.
yeah, that
And
don't have no loyalty to
no,
him.
no,
Right.
no, 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 no. And you got to understand, they don't party with him all the time.
Right.
So when they party with him,
They gonna go all
They're
out.
going to go all out because
Right. Mm-hmm.
Kev's got it. He's paying for this now.
And I'm gonna get it while I'm here.
I'm gonna get it
'cause
while
this
I'm
might
here.
not happen again. Right.
So in that situation, that's what he said. He put himself in that situation. But that's what men don't understand.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And I'm glad he described it as such because that's where men fall apart.
Right.
You know what I mean?
No,
But like you think about like it was that serious.
that you needed to be in
Yeah.
Vegas, like you
Yeah.
needed to party. Like that's the
Like
thing.
that's the desire,
Right.
that's leading you, and then
Right,
you make
right.
decisions based
Right.
off of that are like you normally wouldn't make.
Yeah.
Right.
I told you about going to New York and the Red Door.
Yeah.
I wasn't going in there.
Yeah, right,
First of all,
right.
I ain't spending that kind of. I don't know what's back there. I don't know
Right.
what's gonna happen. But I stayed. Me and Dylan stayed outside,
Right.
and they went in, and we went and got some.
Dude, we've
food.
been to Vegas many times. We've seen the Strip. I have no interest.
Right.
It's just like nothing in me cares about that.
Right,
And it's funny because I was watching a movie the other day, and it was one of these movies about going to Vegas. What was the movie? It's a movie about like people that wanted to like do whatever they could to get to Vegas and party in Vegas. Oh, it's
Hangover?
no, Ashton Kutcher and Cameron Diaz end up getting married in Vegas because one of them lost his job, the other one broke up with the boyfriend. So how are they going to feel better about themselves? We're
to
going to go to
Vegas.
Vegas, and then
Yeah.
they end up getting married because they got
Oh,
drunk.
that's an older movie.
Yeah, but it was
I
on
remember
TV.
it.
But I was just like sitting there
What
watching.
happens in Vegas?
Right. So I'm sitting there watching. I'm like, yo, all of these, and people don't realize like your whole idea of like why you idolize Vegas is because of movies and,
Yeah,
shows
yeah.
like this,
Yeah.
where the dudes that run that are the boys with the people making the movies. So they're like, yo, you got to make Vegas look dope.
Yeah,
You know
yeah.
what I mean? We need to make some money
Right,
out
right,
here.
right.
So it's like they in the movie, it's like
They
the
glamorize
best
it.
time ever.
Yeah,
Everyone's
yeah.
partying. Cameron Diaz is on the bar with a microphone in her hand, yelling at the audience, and everyone's cheering for her. It's like,
Right, right.
whose life is this?
Right.
How does
That's
this
true.
to normal people? You
That's
they're
true.
supposed to be normal people in
You
the
know what
movie.
this reminds me of?
What?
MTV, with the series they had in the 90s, Spring Break.
Spring Break. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I remember my buddies.
Yeah. You think
1999.
that you're gonna go there and it's gonna be that?
Yes, they all saved up. They worked hours upon hours, slaving away at Echelon Mall,
Right.
to save up the ticket. The prices for the ticket were asking. I didn't even bother asking my mom. She would have slapped me the next week, right? I knew I wasn't going.
Right.
That's what they did, and they worked. I mean, working hours, and
Just to
hours
go.
and hours, 3-4 jobs, just to save up that money to buy that ticket. Because it's not, you ain't getting no deals.
Because they're watching the show and they see all the girls dancing by the pool.
We're wild done. I'm Cam the lecturer. Come on down.
Right. And the concerts, and they think they're gonna get out there, and all them chicks is just going.
Who, me? You need me up there?
Right. It's like, no, it don't work like that. You're
Dude,
gonna be in some shitty motel,
the stories.
20
Yes.
miles outside of the city, and you none of these chicks is gonna want to to mess with you because there's too many dudes with money around.
Here's
Like-
the best part of the story. They all went there to get laid, and they ran into other high school girls and end up sleeping with the same girls from the same town that they went there.
Damn.
That they could have just saved
it was
all
like-
their
home.
money and stayed home and went to a
It was
freaking
terrible.
football game at the high school.
That was like the worst.
Yo,
And back then they had travel agents. They didn't have
right.
There's no deals.
Right.
Travel agent.
There was no
Think
Expedia.
about like all the stuff as a younger kid, like especially I know
yeah,
you guys, your stories, all you went through
yeah.
to just fulfill something, and it was
And
like
it's all based off
so
of
much
something
work.
that's been glamorized to you.
That's
And
right.
you think you can't wait till you get to
try it.
experience them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then every time for me, it was just always like, well,
It's always
bullshit.
unfulfilling.
Yeah.
Right.
It's always like bittersweet. You know what I mean?
You know what it is? It's like this. It's like you ever hear an addict talk about why they keep doing drugs because they're always chasing that first high.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like that first high that you get in those situations is the idea of what
Right,
it will
right,
be.
right,
That's
And
the
you're always
bittersweet
chasing
thing.
that idea of what this could be, but it's never going to be that.
Right.
Right.
It's never going to be
It was
that.
sweet. I mean, isn't that like? It was sweet. What's this? What's that? There's like a saying. Think shit's sweet, or is that like a saying?
Yeah, some people say that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was sweet for a minute, and then
Yeah.
it just went away. And that's
Yeah.
the thing. Like it's always sweet at first.
Right.
Yeah.
Then it
The Bible
becomes
says
bitter.
that sin is sweet for a season.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's the same thing with men, especially.
Yeah.
You know, the conquests.
Mhm.
They're in their 70s and
Right.
they're old.
Right.
And they're still, it's
Right.
like you want to.
You still want to get that. You're still chasing that. You never stop chasing. Like
You never.
we've been around some old dudes that was still trying to live that life.
What's up, girl?
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
Like getting hotel.
And no
rooms
girl is
and-
like, get back. I got to get me some of that.
You're right, exactly.
You know?
It's crazy, man.
You just put in so much work.
Right.
And it's something that is never fulfilled.
No.
Never fulfilled.
Right.
Look at Epstein.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He
Settle down. Yeah. I think that's what it is. We just need other men. Like we always talk about, we just need other men to help other men settle down.
Yeah.
And women to help other women settle down. You know,
and make
accept
make
it.
them see how ridiculous it all. is.
Yeah.
Like you're being a child.
Right.
All right, guys, y'all good to wrap it up?
Yeah.
That was a good one.
Yeah.
Rachel's on her way out.
She's good. Yeah, what's up, everybody? We want to thank you all for watching. We appreciate you. We want to say Happy New Year to everyone who tuned in today, and we'll see you guys next week. I think so. Yeah, we'll be back next week.
Thank you. Remember, stay focused, everybody.
Yeah, focused in
A new
2020.
Focus
decade.
2020.
Focus.
Yeah.
A new decade.
Don't forget to go to the Patreon, patreon.com/youngliontv. You can sign up to become a member, or you can donate. You can also go to the Cash App, Young Lion TV on the Cash App, and Jatan.com for music and merch. Subscribe on YouTube, like us on Facebook, Instagram, all that good stuff. We appreciate y'all. See you next week. We out of here.